Welcome to the Troy Kearns podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. Today, I'm with a very special friend, Sierra Dominiak from Wardell and Homes. She is a realtor, investor, business owner, awesome, hilarious. So Sierra and I have got to know each other because you had a property for sale right down the road, and we decided to do a video on it, and it went viral. Mm-hmm. That was cool. Tell us about who Sierra Dominiak is, where you're from, what you're all about.
Yeah. So my name's Sierra Dominiak, and I'm a pet hater. And so I grew up in Smithville, Missouri, went to Mizzou for college and got a hospitality and business degree.
Okay.
Yep. Graduated in 3.5 years and came back to Kansas City and then started my own Mary Kay business and just did that for about 3.5 years and grew a team and did that whole thing. And then started working in real estate in 2019 with Wardell and Homes. And I've been here ever since.
So in terms of when you started with going at Mizzou,
yeah,
you said you went for restaurant and hospitality. Mm-hmm. Why?
So to be completely honest, I hated school. And I went to college to have some fun and play volleyball. So I played volleyball my first year. And
so your why was volleyball?
Yeah, exactly. Didn't really love college athletics, so switched to not playing sports and then just focused on school and work. And I got jobs in event departments and just really focused on that while I was there. But I had such a background of event planning already because I was involved in student council and everything I could be involved in high school and everywhere. And so I already knew how to do it. So why not get a degree in it? Because it'd be easy.
So you went to college because it was easy and you wanted to have fun.
I thought.
Okay.
So it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I mean, the degree was tougher than I thought it would be. But I figured it out.
Well, you said 3.5 years. It didn't take me 3.5 years. It took me like 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I did it pretty quick. I knew I wanted to get out of there because I had a lot of big goals and aspirations that I wanted to achieve. So,
like, what kind of goals and what kind of aspirations were? I mean, I know you just said also that you started Mary Kay, which just kind of blew my non-hair back. But I was like, okay, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you went to school. I didn't know you went to Mizzou. How old are you?
I'm 25.
So you're only 25. Like, I graduated when I was 24.
Yeah.
And you've already gone through college, been out, had your own business, now have your other own business, played volleyball.
Yeah.
And so how did you get into Mary Kay?
So my mom's done it for about 30 years.
Okay.
She drives pink Cadillac and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She loves it. She's amazing at it.
Okay.
And so I just kind of saw how that changed her life and how she changed other women's lives. And I'd always used the product. So why not sell what people wash down the sink?
Oh, that sounds like it might be a slogan of theirs or something.
It was kind of mine.
Is it? So
yeah.
Why do you say why not sell what people wash down the sink?
Well, I mean, think about like if you sell Pampered Chef, like somebody's gonna use their Tupperware and they're probably gonna use that Tupperware the rest of their lives, or however long, 15 years, 20 years. But I had clients just constantly washing their product down the sink and running out. So I always had a passive income.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
They always needed more product.
I'm thinking like literally they're buying it and they're washing it down. You're saying they're putting it on their face. No, like they put it on and
they just wash it down. You put on makeup, you wash it off every day. So sell something that you're gonna need more of.
Right. Yeah. Your clientele will always keep coming back to you.
Yeah.
So you recognize that right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so why are you in real estate then?
Because everyone needs a house.
That's true.
Everyone needs somewhere to live.
Right.
So with Mary Kay, it was just the culture of the company was awesome. I love being involved in that. Love not getting a job right out of college or a job, like where I went to corporate 9 to 5.
Right.
I always wanted that freedom and flexibility. So that's just kind of the route I took. And I interviewed for jobs and applied for many jobs and didn't get them when I was graduating. What kind of
jobs were you interviewing for? Was it in your degree?
Yeah. I wanted to be like someone who coordinated wine tastings and stuff.
Sommelier?
Maybe. I don't know. I applied with E. Gallows, like some big fancy company, and never heard back from them. So after that, I called my mom. I was like, what do I do? I'm graduating in 20 days. And didn't have a job. And she's like, well, try Mary Kay. And it worked out.
So you were like, okay, I went and spent all this money in college, or mom did, or someone did, or it got paid for. I got a volleyball scholarship. I'm not sure which one it was, but
I paid for it.
You paid for it yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we have that in common. Was that like rewarding for you, or do you feel like you got ripped off?
I think it's a touchy subject.
Well,
I don't know. It's so controversial because like I think that it was a waste of money for what I did.
Right. Me too.
And I see the benefit and I see why some people need degrees and why it's important that there is school and structure, but you don't need it for every degree.
So having
or every
said that,
career.
would you have gone, and if you would recreate your life, would you have, besides having all the fun and having all the college and stuff, would you have just like said, I'm going to go meet people at Mizzou and go party there?
Yeah.
Or would I go through and get a degree again? Do you feel like you learned anything?
Yeah, I'd do a degree again because I learned what I didn't want to do, I think.
What was that?
Get a job.
Okay.
Like get a job where I feel trapped or stuck for 30 years in the same job to get a little retirement and hit a wall, and that's where you're at.
You sound like you know that information pretty early on in life. Who told you all that stuff? How did you figure that out so young? I don't think I even knew that when I was 24 or 5. I knew I wanted to be rich, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was through a job.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I just watched my mom and dad and how they ran their lives. They're both entrepreneurs, and so they always had freedom. We always had a really awesome lifestyle and a lot of fun growing up. So I just wanted to be able to give that to myself and my family in the future. And I knew that setting limits wouldn't get me to where I needed to be. After doing Mary Kay for like 3 years-ish, I wanted to get a 9-to-5 because I didn't like always having to be on.
Right.
So I wanted to try and experience that structure of, okay, I go to work, I go home, and then I get to do what I want. And then that's when I got my admin position with our brokerage.
Okay, so we just naturally kind of fast forwarded. So you got out of Mary Kay. You're kind of sick and tired of being pulled every different direction and wanting to just have hours.
Yeah. And I still do Mary Kay full time.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So did you kind of get in here with like, I'm going to hawk all these ladies Airbnb? Or I'm going to hawk all these ladies Mary Kay?
Initially, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, this is like an office of all women. I can give them all facials and like work here and it'll be so fun. Uh-huh. So, I mean, you always got to think about that though.
Right.
Like,
and so you're still selling Mary Kay. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's interested in buying Mary Kay, how do they get a hold of you?
They can text or call me or go to my website. It's marykay.com/S Dominiak.
Okay. And then how do you spell that last name? Because I think it is kind of complicated.
Yeah. Think of it, Dominiak. Dominiak.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your phone number?
816-519-3762.
And are you on Instagram in case somebody wants to get a hold of you too?
Yeah. So I don't do a whole lot of marketing with my Mary Kay because I'm focusing more on real estate now and servicing those clients. But you can find me at Sold by Sierra KC.
Okay, so you initially came in here as an admin person. So where did you find the ad and how did you find Wardell and Homes?
Yeah, so I found them on, I believe it was Indeed.com.
Okay.
It was just a posting for a job and it said every day would be different. Like there would be random tasks, there would be office work, 9 to 5 were the office hours. So I applied, I messaged, it was Andrea, who I didn't know at the time, but she had emailed me some tasks to do. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? How do I find what year this house was built?
Right.
And so I Googled how to find out what year houses are built and downloaded and paid for this like website where you look up property information.
Right.
And emailed her back and I was like, okay, it was built on XXX and blah, blah, blah. And it worked out. I came in for an interview and started, I think, maybe 2 weeks later.
All right. So what year was that?
2019 in March.
2019. And now you are not doing that anymore?
Right. Now I'm the director of operations with the company.
Okay, so that is your title. I didn't even know that. I gotta like bow my hat a little bit when I come in the front door. You're DO?
No, it's a fancy title. But I help with operations. I help Penny. I help Andrea.
I've kind of seen that behind the scenes. I didn't really care to ask because I didn't think it was my business. But now that you're on a podcast, everything is my business.
That's true. Yeah, I'm more behind the scenes now.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of run stuff behind the scenes. So you came in, you got the admin position, so you pretty much worked directly for Andrea?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was her personal assistant and then also the brokerage assistant.
So can I just guess something?
Sure.
Did you start wanting to get your real estate license after seeing a lot of her commission checks?
I think that helped. I mean, I was like, I'm making this and they're making what?
Right. And you're like, I could do this. Yeah,
absolutely. It was like within 3 months I got my license of working with Andrea.
Did she tell you you had to get your license?
No. The plan was that I would get my license to assist her and to assist other agents. And when you're an unlicensed admin, you're not able to answer on the phone certain questions about real estate. Right. So like if I had my license, I'd be able to service, our clients better. So
Right.
I got my license strictly to help, and then did my first deal. And after that, I was hooked.
Okay, that is a great place to jump into. So so first of all, Sierra is 25 years young. We're not going to say even old with that word.
I've got eye wrinkles now.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm using glasses now to read my screen, so I think I got you beat. So the next 20 years.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, especially those computers zap your eyes. So you went in, you're working for her, and you're like, all right, 3 months in, I'm going to get my real estate license. And then how soon after that do you sell your first house?
I want to say September that I was under contract for the first house. It was weird though. Like my first couple deals, I did a commercial lease.
Okay.
I did a residential lease.
Right.
And then I did a house sale. So it was like...
Where were the leads coming from?
From the company.
There's a ton of leads that come through here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So the leads were coming through here. You got a commercial lease lead. She gave you that.
Yeah. I mean, it was the weirdest thing I've ever... And still to this day, I'm like, what? Did I do that right? Like...
I mean,
did anyone
honestly,
know what I was doing?
I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I've got commercial properties. It's just a different kind of skill set.
And I was helping the tenant. So the landlord was also the agent, and he was like, why are you involved in this?
He's like, get you out of here.
I had them come meet at the office and tried to be super formal. And I was like, you have to sign this, this, and this. And he said, no, I don't. And I was like, are you sure? Because my broker said you did.
Yeah, there's so many. You know what? That's an interesting point to jump off on too. Like the amount of forms that you have to have people sign.
Oh,
the amount of people, especially like if you're working with like a major brokerage like a Keller Williams or like somebody's trying to protect their ass.
Yeah.
They will always give you I'll have agents come to me all the time when I'm flipping home. They're like, my broker needs you to sign X, Y, and Z. I'm like, kiss my,
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of
so that must have been
disclosures.
intimidating when that happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you kind of just have to roll with it.
So your first house, let's talk about that. Which one was that? Do you remember the address?
Trying to remember. I really don't.
Was it an investor?
It was a single family, and I think it was around 250 to 300,000.
Okay.
So it was a really great first sale. I did the whole thing with Andrea, so my broker, she walked me through everything. We did it kind of as a team, so I could learn. But yeah, it was, a shit show, to say the least.
Right.
So, one of the house they ended up buying, I remember that I was so disorganized and didn't have any system or place or experience that my phone had died, so I couldn't get a hold of the clients on my way to the showing. I was about 40 minutes late.
Yeah.
And I remember I was flying, and I flew right by the property, and I see them all waving their hands, and I was like, oh my god, I have to turn around and go back right there. And I just was going 60 and
Got your cigarette hanging out the flick.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Ace Ventura pull in there.
My tires are still smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
But the deal went well. They closed in 30 days. It was a great deal. So
do you think a lot of those things that you thought were just in your mind?
Probably. Right. Yeah. And no one really cared. Shit happens, and
all the time, every day.
People are human. So I think your clients understand that. And if they don't, you don't want to work with them.
Exactly. If they don't understand that, that's a great point there. So now you're 3 years into real estate. Mm-hmm. And you told me that mainly you're just helping new investors. Is that true?
New investors and new first-time home buyers.
So tell me about who you work with and why people choose to work with you.
Yeah, so I work with a lot of people around my age just because I've got a pretty big sphere of influence, and a lot of people are buying homes right when they're 22 to 25, 30.
Are they?
Yeah, all my friends are.
Oh, you must be hanging around with a good crowd.
Yeah, surround yourself with good people. My friends were in the bars. Well, we still do that too. But yeah, I've got quite a sphere of younger people buying homes, I feel like. And then we've got a lot of leads to come in the office for first time home buyers. I work with quite a few sellers on the Kansas side.
What does that mean, Kansas side? I'm listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know what are you talking about when you say Kansas side?
Kansas City is a split city. We're in Kansas and Missouri. So A lot of people think there's this big rival between the two sides of the state, but I love both sides, and most people do. There's so many benefits on Kansas and so many benefits on Missouri. So I just got in with a couple investors on the Kansas side, so Kansas City, Kansas, that have a lot of listings and a lot of properties to renovate and list. So I've just been working heavily with them.
Do you think Kansas City is a great place to invest?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I moved my whole family up here
No.
because of real estate deals. I believe it's an excellent opportunity. I wouldn't have moved here because of it.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, 100%. I just felt like, if I spend a couple of years in the Midwest, I can make some major moves. And when I look at it as like through agent's eyes, because I have those eyes too, even though I'm not an agent anymore. I just gave my license back to the state of Nevada. You can have it. But
Bye.
yeah, peace. But the thing is, like, out here, I'm like, man, there's so many houses to flip. Like it's like such a great place to invest.
It is.
What are your investors buying right now?
It depends on which investor.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to attest to that, like Kansas City has so much history. There's just
The Shawnee tribe, I think, was the first tribe out here.
Yeah.
We can go deep on it.
Like lots of fur trading.
Yeah, fur trading. In fact, the West Bottoms was the original place how Kansas City was founded. It was founded on the West Bottoms. That's where the river met and the convergence and the state line is.
Yeah, and all the livestock was there.
Yeah, they had a livestock exchange, which is now a real estate play because it's now converted into an apartment building down by the West Bottoms. So that's cool.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of older homes that need help here still, and it's just an untapped market. Like there are tons of investors in Kansas City, but there are tons of houses.
Would you say like thousands of houses?
Yeah.
Would you say tens of thousands of houses?
Yes.
I would probably say
I would say tens of thousands.
If you incorporate like
in the
not
greater
just
Kansas City area.
Right.
I mean, think of St. Joe.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Kansas City Metro. Now, when I first came out here, and this is 2020, so when, or later 2019, you might have even taken the lead that came through on
I think I was the first person to talk to you.
Oh, you were?
You called into the office.
Oh, that's crazy. Now we're going down the rabbit hole. Let's go.
I think that you called and I transferred you to Andre or something. I can't remember. And then we'll have to look back and figure it out, but I remember when you called.
Yeah, because I had text everybody, and I was just checking out social media then. I had just started like an Instagram account, and I was sending everybody the same message, like, I'm going to buy between 40 and 60 houses in Kansas City. And
I think you said that we were the only ones to respond or answer.
No, so I interviewed, I think, probably, let's just go through this because this is an important point. As you know, as an agent, this is very important. So people always talk about takes to succeed. And when I sent that message, I bet you 90% of the people thought it was BS. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't even Google my name to know that, oh my God, this guy sold a lot of properties and, whatever. But I would say that like I sent that message to probably 50 people and probably 8 responded. And out of those 8, I think 3 followed up with me more than 2 times.
That's insane.
And Corey was the one that followed up with me the most. And that's who I ended up going with.
Yeah. And how many homes have you bought with him?
I think around 70-ish.
Okay.
60 or 70.
That's a career-changing client.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
And the reason I'm here is because, when we went out with Andrea and Corey, and she obviously demonstrated that she was very, like yourself, involved with investors. Mm-hmm. It was like there wasn't any emotion. There wasn't like, oh, I need to sell this guy 10 houses because and there wasn't any desperation. It was like, we're going to treat him right. We're going to earn the business. And that's what you do, right? Yeah. That's why we just did a video at one of your houses that you just sold. Yes. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah. So I sold a house up on Allen Lane.
Right.
I always have all the addresses memorized. I sold that up by your new build.
Right.
Which, how is that?
So we are to the stage where we're putting on drywall.
Okay.
So drywall goes up on Monday, and it was supposed to go up last Monday, but we had to make one change because the wife brought in a personal designer, and then we decided to change the closets and one last little tweak. And before we close on the walls, we might as well kick it down one more week. Did I want to put drywall on that week and just say, forget it, let's go?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
But I'd also be wanting to live at your house that you wouldn't have sold if I lived in it right now. But, sometimes, it's that was one of those things where when we first came out here, I just felt like, we went and looked with Andre, and she was trying to sell us a house really bad. I was like, I want to buy something out here. And then she ended up selling, I don't know if you remember her friend, Evan. Mm-hmm. That was the house I was on.
Oh.
That was the first house I was on.
The house he bought?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
That was the one I was trying to buy. And she's like, I'm like, I want this one. This is the one I want, And she's like, yeah, I have another person who's already like buying it. Or he wasn't buying it, but I was like, oh, should I go around her and get this deal? I was like, no.
Calling the listing agent.
Yeah. I was like, no, we'll just play this one straight up the middle.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think it worked out good. But so then she tried to end up going and looking at houses for us. And I just felt like, man, I got to build something.
Yeah.
And I'd been thinking about doing that in Vegas. And the price of dirt in Vegas is like $1 million.
Oh,
and
wow.
you can't get 10 acres.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we started looking for land with her, and we were up in Gardner and all these other places. And then I started looking for land by the airport, found that little gem up there by your Ellen Lane property.
You said like 6 minutes from the airport?
Yeah, I think it's like my speed, 6 minutes. If you're going like, probably if you're driving like Sierra or I, it would be 6 minutes. If you're driving like most people, I think it's like 8 to 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can get there in 6.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so we're building that house, and we're got our family up here. But you're actually from that area.
Yeah. So I grew up like maybe 15 minutes from that area.
What town?
Smithville, Missouri.
Is it
We
named
got a
after
lake.
the Smiths?
No.
Y'all got a lake?
We all got a lake. No, it's a very beautiful town. It's growing fast, rapidly. There's this, I mean, they just added a Jimmy John's, and that's a pretty big deal.
They got a Jimmy John's out in Smithville. Are you
it was like
freaking
the kind of town that has a Dollar General and a Quick Trip. So it's growing, but yeah, very beautiful
How many stoplights?
It now has 3, I think.
Okay. It's like where I grew up.
Yeah.
Issaquah, Washington, where I grew up, had like one stoplight.
Yeah.
And
it's bigger.
literally right now, it's one of the biggest cities.
Yeah.
So Smithville could turn out to
It
be
has
that.
the potential too, because there's just so much land over there.
Right.
So yeah, the house we sold right up by that area, and it was in a rural area, so we could use
USDA financing. Do you want to talk about that? So the reason that that's interesting, if you guys want to check out that video, so it's on TikTok, it's on YouTube, but we basically did a little video. We just said, let's go out, check out your property. I had seen her sign when I was out driving to my house, and I was like, oh, Andre's got a listing out here, and it was you. And then we ended up doing a video on that. And then we ended up putting a little TikTok out about USDA financing, which is important if you're listening to us right now. First of all, give Sierra a 5-star review, because we're going to get into a topic that's very important in just a second, why you should give her a 5-star review. But one of the things about rural areas is most people don't even know about the USDA loan. Did you know much about it?
I didn't prior to this property. I had heard of it, and I knew what it was just from real estate classes and podcasts, but I'd never experienced it firsthand.
Right. How did that property sell?
They went conventional.
Oh,
yeah. So the buyers, the ones who bought it, it's their forever home.
Right.
Yeah, that's where they're gonna end up and live the rest of their lives. It's an older couple, so they're very excited. But yeah, so USDA, it's so great because in these areas you can buy houses. I can't remember. We looked up the limit, but I don't remember the price point.
Yeah, I think it was like 330-ish.
Yeah.
Right.
So
or it might have been more.
I think it's up to 600 or 700.
Well, I don't
remember.
We're just speculating. We don't even know.
Either way, Google it. Either way, you get to use 0% down.
Right.
So
which
that's
is like
the best thing.
What's the best way to get into a deal? $0 down.
Yeah, not spending any of your own money.
Right. Not spending any of your own money. The other cool thing is you can actually develop with USDA financing. You can do like all sorts of development options. They're just like a HUD / they got a big pot of money that they got to put out there, and you might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah. And they're just helping develop these areas. They want more people to live out there.
The one topic I just wanted to jump into, and this is why I said it's so important to give her a 5-star review, is you are in a world where it is mainly men. They call it the good old boys club a lot of times. You hear real estate, and especially commercial real estate, you hear about it. It's the good old boys club. But women seem to dominate the top tier. Can you talk a little bit about your experience as a woman?
Yeah. Well, where do I start? Let's unpack this. I have had ups and downs, of course, as a woman in our industry, and especially being my age. I'm a very young woman, so I appear very inexperienced, I guess would just be the best one. So a lot of times you'll get on the phone. Young. You get on the phone with these agents and men that have been in the company or in the industry for 10, 20, 50 years. And you get the sweeties and the honeys and well, I've been doing it for 50 years, so I know how to do this. And
now, somebody calls you sweetie. Are you offended by that?
I'm not offended, but I just don't see the purpose always. Like, I call my friends like, hey, dude, hey, bud, hey, sweetie, hey, honey, I guess.
Yeah. So you just feel like it's inappropriate?
Yeah, in a way.
Do you think they're talking down to you a little bit?
I think it's belittling. I think definitely. Like, they're showing like, oh, I've got, like, I'm the head honcho here.
Right.
And I just feel like that's what it's used for. But I mean, you just can't take anything personally.
Right.
And
You
there's no
cannot.
reason to.
Right.
Especially someone calling you sweetie. Like, if
Right.
that's the worst they're going to call me.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could be calling you a lot worse things for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So they're probably trying to be nice, but they may
Yeah.
not be communicating it effectively.
Yeah. So communication wise, like sometimes you have that. And then other than that, I haven't ran into many issues. You just have to kind of have and be willing to have some tougher skin.
What do you mean by tougher skin exactly?
That if you stay calm for your client and in your deal and don't freak out and have all these emotions and get emotionally attached to these properties, then your deal's going to go smoothly.
That's very important information right there.
Yeah.
Is
And
it-
I'm not saying that because I think women are so emotional. Men are emotional too. We all have emotions.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. We might show, different emotions, but I think for any man or woman, just staying in control of who you are and keeping that peace throughout really helps you get through it. I grew up always being taught and told that women are capable of anything. And that's what I firmly believe in. I grew up in a very strong household with a very strong mother raising me, and my dad
I would
supporting
never have guessed that.
And I just was always taught that there is nothing a woman can't do, and
Right.
the same as with man. So I just never had that limitation set on myself that I'm going to get into real estate and not be able to do anything because I'm not a man. I just
Right.
have never felt that way. And
Right.
then I was in Mary Kay, and that's obviously a cosmetic company that preaches women empowerment.
Right.
So taking all of that into real estate has helped guide me, I think, and
Right.
not giving up too, because it's easy to be like just torn down and you get shut down. But I think that's what's helped me.
When you mean torn down and shut down, do you mean like just from people?
Just as a whole, like it is a male dominated industry, and that can be intimidating.
So it's intimidating as a woman sometimes when everybody else is a man.
It can be.
Yeah. Or not everybody else, but a majority of the
Yeah.
people. Okay.
And
but-
you just have to present yourself in a different way. Maybe you roll out of bed and you don't have to brush your hair, and you can throw on your glasses and a button up and you look professional, but I have to get ready and do my hair and make sure my nails are done, do my makeup. I have to have on the right shoes. I have to have on appropriate attire. So women have so much more pressure to
Right.
have this professional.
That's true. It's
attire,
totally true. Like
yeah.
you got to buy a nice purse.
Yeah.
You got to have nice nails. You got to have your hair. And if you don't,
Right. Then it's like, oh, well, she's a slob. I don't know what to say.
right. I think the same thing goes a little bit for men. Like if
Yeah.
you are working with an agent who looks like he rolled out of bed,
Right.
and if it's a guy or if it's a girl, obviously you're going to know the gal who doesn't know how to put her makeup on. She put like blue mascara on and some big
Cute.
bright pink lipstick.
Calling it good.
Yeah, and then a scrunchie,
Yeah,
but like I think you guys are held to a higher standard just from society.
Yeah, but I don't feel like a whole lot of like, oh, you're a woman in real estate, like you're not going to be able to get the deal done.
Right.
As long as you back up what you're going to say and you follow through with what you're going to do, then I think that you build a reputation for yourself and the respect.
If I was to tell you I thought you had an advantage, would you think that I was being like talking down to you?
No.
Because I've always thought this from a government standpoint, that if you're a minority, that's a woman-owned business. If you're a minority, African-American, a Hispanic,
Yeah.
you actually have a better chance of getting a government contract, a better chance of getting many contracts than I do as a white male.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking at yourself through the eyes of scarcity, or saying, I'm a woman, I'm not going to get this, or I'm a black man, I'm not going to get this, then the government is looking at you a completely different way. They're looking at you as,
Right.
we believe that you believe that, and therefore we're going to give you this extra way to get in.
Right. Yeah. And the government also sees that the general population has always geared more towards men, white men. That's always been a prevalent race. So they're giving more opportunity and trying to spread it out, I think.
Yeah, so that's the way I always felt like. I'm like, people always say, well, I can't get a break because I'm this, because I'm that.
Yeah,
and
I
it
disagree.
doesn't sound like you're using that as something. I think if you put that in your mindset as a limiting factor, then it
Yeah.
will be a limiting
Yeah.
factor.
You limit yourself.
Right.
Like, oh, I can't do this because I'm a woman. No, I'm going to do it 10 times better because I am a woman.
And I honestly think that women realtors, I prefer working with them.
We're a little more organized. I'm just kidding. Women have elevated emotions.
What does elevated emotions even mean?
Well, I would say that because of our hormones, we actually do have heightened emotions.
Like you feel other people's feelings?
No, you don't. It's not other people's emotions. It's yours.
It's your own.
Yeah.
You feel your own emotions.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that leads into the yoga thing. Like,
let's go there.
If you are taking care of yourself and taking care of your body and your mind and your spirit, you are not going to feel all of these crazy heightened elevated emotions and have these dips and ups and dips and ups because you have already centered yourself.
Centering yourself. So why did you start getting into yoga?
I got really big into my health over the last year.
What happened?
So back last year, 2021, in February, I went to the doctor because I wasn't feeling good and had just really, I wasn't treating my body well. I wasn't feeling with good energy. I was drinking a lot, wasn't sleeping well. So I went to the doctor. I said, what's up? Like, how do we figure this out? And I figured out I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
And so basically it just hurts your fertility. It messes with your hormones. It causes like male pattern hair growth on your body. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's all kinds
Exciting.
of, yeah, it's super fun. I love it. Love it. And it just affects your body and the way
Right.
it works properly.
Right.
So I figured that out and they said the first thing to do is get your health right. And that's going to help your hormones level out. So
Okay.
started, I went and met with a nutritionist. I went and met with a personal trainer. I went and met with a holistic healer and I just really started to like discover what works for me, how am I going to do this? How am I going to fit real estate in and running a business and, my social life and everything. And then also eat well.
Right.
Like I didn't understand how to do that.
Right.
So I had to really like reconstruct my view of that. And so I did all that, and then I jumped into this thing called 75 Hard with Jacob.
I'm just thinking about that. I don't even know what it's about right now. Just tell me what it's about.
Do it. So it's with Andy Frisella. He has a podcast and all the things. So you can Google it and all the information comes up. But basically what it is 75 days of challenging you to be the most mentally tough you can be.
Okay.
So you have to, for 75 days, follow these tasks. You have to work out twice a day. You have to follow a meal plan.
Okay.
You have to, and it can be any meal plan. Like mine was, I'm going to...
McDonald's?
Any healthy meal plan.
Got it.
I was going to not eat bad. I was going to not eat fast food, no processed foods, no sugars, no anything that was bad for me. I wanted whole, good foods, produce, everything that was going to be good for me. Work out twice a day, meal plan, 100 ounces of water, and then you have to take a progress picture every day, read 10 pages of your book, and then, gosh, there's one more thing. No alcohol.
No alcohol.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. What about marijuana?
That's not on the list.
Okay. So you got no alcohol.
And I actually emailed them about that.
Oh, did you?
I did. I emailed
For a friend.
For friends. Because I was curious for my friends if they wanted to partake, but they said if you wanted to challenge yourself harder to cut it out.
Okay.
But it's up to you. Because Andy Frisella, the guy who runs it, he promotes smoking.
Right.
He's a big smoker, so.
Okay. Was it hard?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
The hardest thing you've ever done. Why?
Because it's 75 days of keeping yourself accountable. No one else knew if I didn't take a picture of myself. No one else knew if I had a cookie, but I did.
Right.
For 75 days.
Right.
No one knew if I had a sip of alcohol, but I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
But I did. It's like a double entendre.
I knew it, but I didn't do it.
Yeah. Okay, just once.
Yeah.
Andy, sorry.
I just smelled it, okay. But yeah, it was just tough. Working out for 45 minutes a day is hard. Working out for 45 minutes once is hard, but twice, that seemed impossible. And one of those workouts has to be outside. Okay. And I did it from October 18th, I believe, to December 31st. So
it's warm in Missouri and Kansas City.
Super warm.
Right.
So I think the coldest it was on one of our outdoor exercises was about negative 10 degrees. Right. So I was like all bundled up and like walking my dog all pissed off. Like, why am I doing this? Yeah, I know I can do this.
I don't need to prove it to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, but it really makes you mentally tough. And after I felt invincible.
You did?
Yeah.
So you did the whole thing. You did it 75 days. Did you miss one day?
Mm-mm.
That's tough.
I guess, I didn't take a picture. And that was like the only task I thought was really relevant because you have to take a progress picture.
Right.
So I missed that. So that's why we're doing it again to like make sure we.
Oh, you're making sure that you got every single thing this time.
Mm-hmm.
So was there any sort of like transformation physically, mentally? Any sort of statistics that you could share with us?
I don't have statistics, but I'm down 42 pounds since last February.
That's the kind of statistics I'm talking about. So you're down 42 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of weight. I didn't know you were.
I didn't know I weighed that much.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just stopped eating bad and exercising, and it really worked.
What are you eating now?
Now I eat, eggs for breakfast sometimes, or oatmeal. I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of rice.
What did you cut out?
Processed foods, quick foods, like easy microwavable meals, stuff like that. Yeah, you better just throw us in the trash.
I'm like, all right, 70.
And I also like on the other end too, like I was in such an inconsistent schedule that I wasn't eating every day, and I wasn't eating all my meals I needed to. So I just wasn't nourishing myself enough. And this whole program just totally switched that.
So are you feeling your body all the time now? Are you putting like lots of food in, or are you eating?
No, I'm still at, I would say probably like 12 to 1400 calories. I don't track super heavily on anything. I just eat till I'm not hungry.
Right.
And I just like try and be intuitive about it. I don't try and lay in bed and eat 15 cookies. It happens.
You've been following me.
It happens every once in a while, but
it's all night eating,
yeah,
right?
and it's all moderation.
Right. You just gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Is just go to bed.
You don't need a cookie, just go to sleep.
Just go to sleep. You don't need that last cookie.
Yeah. But the only reason we did 75 hard, and I say we because Jacob, my boyfriend, did it with me. We did it because we knew that we needed a change in our lives mentally. Like this challenge was going to take us to the next level to be disciplined in our businesses.
Did it?
Yes.
And how did he do?
Good. His company's doing great. We've got 9 projects scheduled right now for landscaping, and we're about to kick off the summer of mowing. And
are you running that business too?
Yeah.
It's
not running.
The way you're talking, but you're doing a lot of the.
Yeah, we have 50-50 ownership in it now, so I try and help with the admins.
Watch out for Sierra.
I try and help with the admins.
Watch on still.
Hey, I keep my everything in a row. I like trying to help with the marketing, admin stuff, and then he's out with the crew and doing the jobs. And we just got our first shop.
So now you're picking up some big clients.
Yeah.
So you've got a real estate business, a makeup business, and a landscaping business, and you're 25 years old. Mm-hmm. That's why we're having you on the show. That's pretty impressive. At 25, like I said, I was drinking pretty heavily, still working at Red Robin, and I think I got a job at the radio station, was just starting my sales career, and you've already got 3 businesses that you own. So tell me about how you got to yoga. Was that part of the...
Yeah, 75 hard. I knew I needed 2 workouts a day, and I couldn't lift weights every day. I'm just not a weightlifter. I don't love it.
Right.
So I need to mix it up. So I went and found a yoga shop by where I coach volleyball.
Right.
And started doing that once or twice a week, and now I just got hooked.
So what hooked you about it?
Going and having an hour to turn my phone off, really love that.
Right.
Because I'll go to the gym and work out, and maybe I get on the stair stepper, but I'll work the whole time I'm on it.
Right.
Or if I'm lifting weight, you have your phone, so you're always working. But there, I know I'm going to shut down, so it's more of a mental workout.
Right.
And I love being balanced. Like I love physically, I love like being able to like balance on one foot.
Right.
I think it's so cool.
Did they ever do the scenario where they're talking about like you're the tree, and the more that you shake, the more you're getting your roots into the ground. And that's truly true.
Yeah, and you like shake your limbs.
Yeah, like you're like, like I can tell you today I did yoga. I did the Power 2 at Power and Life at 7, which is late for me. I try to do it like 5:45.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it changes the way I feel. Like I go in there, and not only am I getting flexible, like I never could touch my toes.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, can touch my toes.
Yeah.
And so like now I'm looking at like, well, I'm getting old, but I'm actually in better shape now at almost 45. At 45 than I was at 25, which is crazy for me. And so that's my yoga journey so far.
Yeah. And I don't know what your experience is, but my teacher just preaches like, this is your practice. Like you come here, and if you're trying to get a sweat, like do the workout to get a sweat. But if you're here to relax, like, and your body needs rest, like do that. Yeah. So I really love that they're guiding you.
A yogi field. Yeah. That's totally a good point that you brought up right there, is that like yoga preaches like it's your mat, it's your time, it's your space. Be present, be in the moment, forget about everything else that you've got going on, and try to be a better person.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like the whole mantra, right?
Yeah.
And then breathe in to your poses and stretch out, and it's like you get this almost like out of body experience as your body's twisting and turning over like a 45-minute or a 90-minute class. Some of these classes are.
Oh, yeah.
That are just
those things are tough.
I could tell you one thing. What do you think is tougher, yoga or weightlifting?
Yoga.
What do you think is tougher, yoga or running?
yoga still, and well, I mean, depends how far, but yoga.
Because it's that isolated time that you can't fake it out there on the mat.
No.
That's why they know you. They don't need to
Right.
tell you to compare yourself to anybody else, because
Yeah.
everybody can see what you're doing.
And I just feel like you can really apply everything you learn in yoga in your real life. I mean, like we talked about in your real estate
Right.
business, in your day-to-day, like
Right.
making sure you're present. That's a
Right.
huge thing. Like now I set my phone down and I'm more present with people versus thinking like I've got to stay attached to this phone. Like everyone's calling. But
Well, you're from that era too, right?
Yeah.
Did you grow up with a phone?
I got a phone when I was, I think, 14.
14.
Yeah. And it was a purple flip phone.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
But I mean, Apple came out with the iPod in 2005. So you would have been 9. And so then the iPhone kind of got big in 2007.
Yeah.
And so you pretty much grew up with the iPhone.
Right. Yeah. I grew up with devices and screens and computers. I mean, everything.
So it's hard to, and I watch people, like I know you do too, like when you're going to the gym and like that guy just walks around like his phone's walking him.
Yeah.
I just like, that's so stupid.
I
Like,
know.
go give yourself the time.
Yeah.
Like when I go to the gym, I try to make a conscious effort of leaving my phone in the car. Unless I'm playing, like just going to leave it in my pocket and play music the whole time or podcasts or whatever, it's gone.
Yeah. And which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love my phone and technology and I think it's great. But, like, that is something that hinders our generation is that, like, you go to lunch or dinner with somebody and everyone's on their phone the whole time. Or if you go meet clients, like, we're on our phones or, everything's so technology based now. And I just would love to take that away some moments.
Right.
And yoga has just taught me that that is okay.
Right. It's taught you that it's okay, that you're not going to die. You got and I always tell people, man, if it's really that important, call me. Like all these texting and stuff like this these days where like people are like, especially, and I'm going to hate on your generation a little bit, but are you Gen Zer?
I don't know.
I think you are Gen Z or Gen Y.
Yeah.
I think you might be Gen Z.
I'm not a millennial.
Yeah, you're not. You're past you're Gen Z or Gen Y.
I think Gen Z.
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
like Gen Z has this thing of like let's say we're at the Chiefs game, and I'm like, where are you at? I'm meeting you. Let's go. Like, pick up the phone and call them. Like, it's easier to give directions versus going back and forth.
I will text people and say, is now a good time to call? And that is stupid. Why don't I just call? I do that and I hate it.
I hate when people say, call me.
Yeah, you call me. You call me.
That's why, call me. Why?
Yeah, if you can text me, you can probably text me the question.
Right.
Or you can call me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Just to kind of summarize, you're now real estate, you're working with all these salespeople. Are you making any investments yourself?
Yes.
Can we talk about those?
Yeah. So Jacob and I bought our first house in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. We got it right before the elevated market with no inventory. So we bought our house with no other offers on it, which was awesome.
What city?
Kansas City.
So you're in the city?
Yeah, in Briarcliff.
Briarcliff is on your way to Smithville, right?
Yeah.
I do. Highway 9?
Yeah. Good job.
Oh, good.
Nice. Yeah, it's right north of North Kansas City. So
Yes, I think I passed by there on the daily. Like 169 passes through there as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right through there. And there's the village on one side, and then I live on the older side.
That's a good area.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
a lot of biking
love
trails
it.
and stuff
Yes.
down there by the river.
Yeah, and I envision it becoming kind of like the next prairie village, just
I
based off
agree.
of how the area is laid out and like the older homes, the big trees, the wide streets. It's got a lot of like little pockets of coffee shops and.
So let's talk about that investment. How much
Yeah.
did you pay for your house in Briarcliff?
So we paid $140. I think it ended up being $143, and we got a furnace, a brand new furnace,
Right.
about $3,000 of other miscellaneous repairs. Because when we gotten done with our inspections, I kid you not, Jacob typed up 2-page document of items he wanted taken care of or we were canceling. And I was like,
Is he an engineer?
no, he's very like particular. And I was like, this is a great house. We're buying this house. If we don't buy this house, we're not going to get a house. Like, we're buying this house.
And if he didn't understand that, I'm sure he did later, because guys, we always know who makes the decisions on the home purchases. So I'm sure that list ended up going in the circular file.
It went to the agent, and I would have never for any other client ever been like, hey, I've got 2 pages of repairs we want,
Yeah.
because no one's going to go for that, especially in our market now. But
Right.
we sent it, and I was like, here's this, or we're going to cancel, so you decide. And they're like, we can do this, 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 and this, and I got more out of it than I ever thought we would.
Which is a great tip.
Yeah.
Ask for everything.
Yeah, it's always a no until you ask.
It's always a no until you ask. But in your mind, it was already a no before you asked.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got it for
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob. Got it for $143. So far, we've probably put about $12,000 into it. We redid the kitchen. We got a new roof. We've been working on landscaping. And right now, as is, we could sell it for about $180 to $185.
Wow. So it's already made you more money than probably any other investment that you've ever made in your life.
Yeah.
And
plus, I made a real estate commission as an agent off of it.
Plus, you got paid for selling the deal. What about other investments? Are you making any other investments right now?
Yeah, so we bought a commercial property for our riverfront landscape company as well.
Okay.
Just a commercial shop with a lot and a couple garage doors and a little office space.
So let's talk about that investment.
Yeah, so that one we paid $200,000 for that one.
Was that conventional financing?
We did I feel like it was a commercial loan.
Was it an SBA loan?
No, it wasn't. But I talked with somebody, maybe it was Andrea after we bought it, and she's like, oh yeah, Troy's doing an SBA loan, or maybe it was you.
It might have been.
To buy commercial.
Yeah, if you could do owner occupant SBA, it's only 10% down. It's
that would have been nice.
Yeah, it's a good play because it's $20,000, right? Versus probably 60.
Yeah, we did 20%, so 40.
40 grand.
Yeah, plus closing costs, which was about $5,000.
How's that investment been?
Great. I mean, the shop, we bought it with all the contents, thinking that we would get some money out of the stuff we found in there. And so far, we found about 1,200 car mats and junk.
Are those selling?
No.
I'm trying to think of uses. I
thought, wow, okay,
blinds?
let's get all these car mats and I'll post them for $1 a piece. Like that's $1,200 right there.
Yeah.
And then after we started, we had the dumpster and we do all the work ourselves because we're still we enjoy that. We're young.
Well, you're
We've got
a pretty
the energy.
hardworking lady. I see you assembling lawn furniture all the time.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. So we figured out that it's just really not worth our time or money to try and post that stuff on Facebook.
$1 a piece.
Yeah. So we just
buy in bulk.
Yeah.
Well, just in case, if anybody's listening right now and you've got a junkyard and you need a lot of car mats, can they still get them from you?
Well, I threw them away. Yeah, most of them are in the dumpster, hauled off. So we did one dumpster so far. We have to get another dumpster. We've power washed the whole building. This week we're working on the landscaping.
Okay.
And then next week we're gonna rebuild the interior office, and then we're also gonna split the building in half eventually, so we can rent out half and then keep half.
All right. So is it a good size lot?
Yeah. We've had I think 2 people so far drive by and ask if they could rent out just the lot part, because the back of it has a huge lot. And then while we were there cleaning up, we had 3 people stop by and ask if they could rent or buy it. So that's why we were like, well, we probably need to rent some of this and pay for the mortgage.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Because our mortgage is $1,000 and we could rent it for about $3,000.
That's fantastic. So if you're listening right now and you're like, wow, it seems like she's been at this forever. You've only been at this for
2.5 years.
2.5 years. You've made 2 investments already. You've helped a bunch of people invest in. How many houses have you sold in those 2.5 years?
Over 50, I think.
Over 50 houses. Are most of them to investors?
No, I'd say probably half and half with traditional and investment.
Which is a pretty good mix because most people are selling.
And some of those are listings too.
So do you think real estate was a good switch for you?
Yeah.
Would you go back to anything else?
No.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, 10 years?
My goal when I started real estate, I told Jacob I'd love to retire by 35. By that, I don't mean retire and not work ever again, because I'm never going to stop working. I feel like I love work. I love people. I love the energy. But I'd love to not have to work if I don't want to by 35.
Right. That's the choice. So your goal in 10 years is to be retired with passive income coming in?
Mm-hmm. To have enough investments to pay for whatever we need.
What advice would you give to someone, either someone young that's listening to this right now or watching us? What advice would you give that you wish you would have had when you were younger?
Talk to everybody. Even if you feel like they're not going to be your personality type that you like or the kind of person you want to jive with, listen to everyone, talk to everyone, and never stop learning, because even when you feel like, oh my gosh, I figured this out, you haven't.
Right.
And
so don't be narrow-minded.
Yeah, absolutely. Always stay open-minded. And I think that's something really big that Andrea taught me too, because I can be quick to judge someone and be like, oh, okay, they're not going to,
I heard I was judged at one point in time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had I feel like there's been some weird feelings. I don't know.
Nah, I'm just very to myself, and people are off put by that all the time. I got that
I
from.
can see that.
I got that from one, I forget who it was. I think my pleasantries are not always the best. And like in terms of like, I'm very direct.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to do the niceties. And I don't like to do those because they are not the most.
It's a lot of fluff.
It is.
Yeah.
I got that with my, when I first started working and we were starting to crush it and in real estate, and this girl used to always say good morning to me and I would never say it back. And like, I guess she got really upset.
I'm never saying good morning to that guy again.
Right. And that kind of like, and I think Andre mentioned, she's like, are you being mean to Sierra? And I was like, no. You know what I mean? It's so something like that. I was like, well, maybe I need to just be nicer.
Yeah.
And I think that's something
it helps.
It's something that, no, but I'm just saying like in general, like, when you said that, it made me think of like, yeah, I think that people judge you, like you might judge somebody else, and it's just like they might be in their own world doing whatever. And I think that's great information, like saying like, hey, even the guy holding the sign up at the freaking stop sign can teach you something.
Oh, absolutely.
He knows how to get food probably for nothing.
Absolutely. I mean, he doesn't do anything. He's probably fed and has somewhere to sleep. So
right.
Definitely that would be my advice. Just stay open-minded and always stay learning.
Always stay learning. Talk to everybody.
Yeah. And don't put a dollar on people. Like, I feel like that's something a lot of real estate agents get stuck on is like, okay, they're going to buy a house for $300,000. I'm going to make this much money and then blah, 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 blah. But like every client needs to be treated the same way. Like whether you're buying a $30,000 house or you're buying a $3 million house, you are the same client.
Does that come from Andrea?
Mm-hmm. That's where I learned.
Yeah, she does do that pretty well.
Yeah, and that's how every person should learn that, I feel like, because you cannot go through life and just think you're above everyone because of what you have. We are all here doing the same thing.
Right. Nobody's breathing different oxygen.
Right. We all put our pants on the same way. We all have to buy our orange juice somewhere.
That's right. Whole Foods. They are selling me like rotten orange juice lately. Like I drank one today that was like halfway spoiled.
Have you ever had a rotten tomato?
Yeah.
I hadn't until recently, and I opened it. It was green.
Yeah. You know, I'm a little bit caveman-ish, I think, in terms of like certain things. I just like, you know, rather than go and argue with the lady for the $3.99 for the orange juice, I'm just going to drink it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, same.
Like, you know, because I tried it last time. I was like, last time I was here, I was like, it was spoiled. She's like, do you have your receipt? I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, forget it. So we'll just keep buying spoiled orange juice. But that's just to Jeff Bezos if he's listening right now. Like, buy a lot of
better orange juice.
Yeah, like check your labels, make sure you're born on dating is right. So, okay, that's great. What other? Like, and if you're a woman out there and you're specifically listening to Sierra right now, what words of encouragement would you offer?
Don't set any limitations for yourself. Although it's hard, just don't.
Okay.
You are able to accomplish whatever you put your mind to and follow through with what you say you're going to do.
Follow through with what you say you're going to do.
That's going to be what people remember you for.
Right.
If I say, oh, I'm going to call this off-market property and schedule this contractor, and then I don't, that's what you're going to be remembered for.
I think that is such valuable information. And we were just talking about that with Tyler, who helps me out with some things. I'm helping him make some phone calls, and I'm like, don't tell people you're going to call them back tomorrow. And he's like, well, why? I'm like, because the chances of you forgetting to do that are high. Say, I'll try to call you back in the next few days. Yeah. Because you never committed to anything. Yes. And they're going to remember that you didn't commit, but they're going to remember and call you a liar if you didn't deliver on whatever you said you were going to deliver on.
Under deliver, over.
Over promise, under deliver.
Yeah. Under promise, over deliver.
Wait, no.
Under promise.
Under promise, over deliver. Yeah, we got that. I had that one. I think the first one will get you screwed.
Just another slogan.
Yeah. Here's the dollar sandwich. Right. Over promise and under deliver. Yeah, I think that's important. So as a woman, don't set limitations on yourself. And what about real estate? Do you see yourself getting in any other career fields?
No. I mean, maybe.
What's one thing that we don't know about you that we should know about you?
I had a pet chinchilla.
You had a pet chinchilla. What happened to him?
My pet chinchilla got, I wanted a pet chinchilla, and the reason I got a pet chinchilla is because a boy I was talking to in high school had one, and so I thought if I had a chinchilla, he would also want to talk to me, and that didn't work, so I got stuck with the chinchilla.
And then he was worthless because the reason for that's understanding your why.
Yeah,
that is very important.
I didn't want the chinchilla. I wanted the next object.
Right. So
not object.
Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever your name is, Chinchilla Man.
I still don't love you.
Yeah, she's over you, and the chinchilla's at a pet farm.
Yeah. So I got my wisdom teeth taken out though, and I was crying afterwards. My mom asked why I was crying. I said, because I want a chinchilla so bad. So she bought me a chinchilla for Christmas. And then the chinchilla I would let out, and it got out of my house, and it got into the air ducts, ended up in the basement. We found it 3 days later, still alive. And then after a few years of having, I think I had 5 years, we gave it to a friend that has a petting farm zoo. They have all kinds of exotic animals.
And do you have any other animals right now?
Yes.
What do you got?
I have 3 cats and a dog.
And you love them all?
I love them so much. I love them, but not their hair.
Animals are great, but
Yeah.
they can be a pain in the butt if you want to keep clothing hairless. I know my wife's always complained about our dog, but all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you spending all your time and giving us a lot of good information. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
And I guess if you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star review. And if you didn't, keep your mouth shut and don't do nothing and share this video with a friend. Peace.
Thank you.